Hey there. Today the moon goes into Scorpio, and we've had a doozy of a week with especially with yesterday's T square with the moon in Libra at third quarter, activating an opposition between Jupiter in Cancer and Mars, Sun, and Venus all in Capricorn together. So it's been quite a week. And today, instead of taking a zoom out like I often do on Sundays, I want to actually focus on today's moon sign because I think I've done a lot. First of all, I've done a lot of zooming out throughout my videos of the past week, and I'll link to some of those in the description for this video so you can go review those if you wish to. But also because I think we need the nourishment and to understand the opportunities here for self-care with the Scorpio moon. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro vibe for Sunday, January 11th. So the moon goes from Libra to Scorpio at 2:55 a.m. Pacific time. So we're just at the beginning of this Scorpio energy. And as the moon enters Scorpio, it will move through the early degrees of Scorpio in those first few hours and form a square with Pluto in Aquarius. So again, activating those outer planets, which the moon does, right? The moon goes around the entire zodiac every 27 days. So we've got all of the outer planets being activated every month, multiple times, between the conjunction, the square, the opposition, and all of that. So I don't talk about every single one, but we sometimes look at the Pluto, the moon aspects to Pluto, because Pluto is that deeper place of truth and power. And when we're thinking about self care, I think it's really important to understand some of these deeper places of power, what we need to reclaim our power, where we give away our power. Self care itself is an act of reclaiming power, right? Because when we care for ourselves, we have more energy, we have more, we're more rested, we have our needs met so that we can show up as a stronger whatever it is we're doing, stronger at whatever it is we are doing. And so that is empowerment. Rest, self-care, that is empowerment. And we can look at Pluto to understand how that process is unfolding. So we've got the moon entering Scorpio, and Scorpio is ruled by, in the modern rulerships, ruled by Pluto. So we've got that Scorpio energy of transformation, of deepening into our own place of truth and where our power really is. So with yesterday's T square, and yesterday I talked about that T square and that activation that really involved Jupiter, Moon, Sun, Mars, and Venus. So that's 5 planets all involved in a very tight T square. So a T square is just an opposition between 2 planets with a third squaring both. And so with that T square of yesterday, we had that need to really come to terms with our beliefs, our assumptions, our old ways of being, our old ways of understanding the world around us as well as ourselves. And so we can think about that as that moment that we've been moving through with the planetary alignments as an opportunity to leave behind old stories, old beliefs, and old ways of seeing ourselves and the world. Now, it's easy to say that, right? But it's really huge. This is really huge, and it's going to show up for each of us in our own individual ways. And so as I was saying with yesterday's third quarter moon, we are 3/4 of the way through the moon cycle that began with the Sagittarius new moon. So Sagittarius is a sign that focuses on expansion and travel and philosophy and expanding our mind to embrace and integrate new thinking, new ideas, new possibilities. So when you travel, you go to places that are unfamiliar, right? You get outside your comfort zone, and you know, on the one hand, of course, you don't have your normal comforts, but on the other hand, you get to see things and see perspectives and possibilities and options and opportunities and ways that people do things that are not part of your everyday, ordinary ways of understanding the world or what's possible or how to think about and approach the issues, challenges, and problems that show up in your life. So you can get that expanded perspective when you travel. And that's what we want to think about. Now, you don't have to be traveling, but it's that idea of expansion into new perspectives. And so what supports you in doing that? What supports you in getting outside of old ways of thinking and being and understanding? And when you let go, as we are in a letting go moment, we have Neptune. I said I wasn't going to talk about the outer planets, but here we go. Neptune in the final degree of Pisces. We are in this moment of letting go, of surrendering the past, of releasing old, what's the word? It's like constructs and constraints. Constructs, that's the word. Old constructs, old ways of embodying the things that we care about. And so, how that shows up in your life and what that looks like, how you do things, and how you think things work, right? We all have to have a way that we think things work because that's how we function. But there are times, and this is one of those times in our lives where we need to expand. We need to get beyond our old ways of seeing things and our old ways of understanding the constructs we are part of, because that allows us to expand into something new and different and go beyond the limitations of the past. So for many people, that might look like actually, you know, shedding old skin, shedding old ways of being, letting go of ways of seeing yourself, identities, personas, and really expanding into who you are capable of being that maybe you didn't see as possible before, or you didn't see how to do it, or it was hard to maybe see the steps to get there. So this is a big moment of shift around seeing what needs to shift, seeing why we can't fit into our old constructs and our old skins anymore, and what that means for what we're becoming. And that brings me back to today's Scorpio moon and Pluto. so Scorpio, when the moon is in Scorpio, as it is with all the signs once a month at least, we're in a time where we really kind of feel that moodiness, that sensitivity, that like things are happening at deep levels inside of us. We can't explain it. Somebody says, why don't you just snap out of it? You can't snap out of it because it's happening inside of you. Something is moving and rearranging and opening up or flowing or processing or integrating. All of that can be happening in that deeper place inside of us that is mysterious. And so Scorpio is the sign of mystery and transformation. And as we go through those things that are happening on the inside, we are in fact changing. And so that is why this Scorpio moon is so important, is because we are integrating what has been unfolding and where we have been seeing or starting to have that expanded perspective of either what is possible, where we want to go that we haven't seen as an option in the past, but also where we're seeing ourselves in new ways and seeing ourselves as stepping into new ways of being. This Scorpio moon is that time where we get to let go of a need to understand, of letting go of a need to have control and to know how it works, and to really just trust that deeper inner process that is happening. Because if you can let that deeper inner process happen, um, maybe below the surface, you don't have an explanation. You can't just snap out of it. You don't have the ability to just make yourself fit in to whatever your expectations were for the day, maybe. But as that deeper inner process is happening, what's happening is that things inside of you are rearranging in a way that it will become easier to see what you are becoming. So, how you are changing, what is opening up for you, what new possibilities you are discovering that are maybe emerging on the horizon, but it doesn't make sense just yet. And so, what my message is for today, and as we go through this Scorpio moon for the next couple of days, is to let go of a need to know, to let go of a need to understand and make sense of what is happening inside you, what is happening in the world around you, and to trust that it is simmering, it is bubbling under the surface. And with that simmering and bubbling, magic is happening. Things are becoming denatured and renatured and discombobulated and recombobulated in new ways. Just like when you put a lid on the pot and you just walk away and let it simmer and it's doing all of its magic, and you come back and it's different, right? That magic that happens while something is cooking, hopefully in a good way, but it's happening at that deeper molecular and chemistry level. And so if you can think about that as what is happening inside of you, and let go of any need to understand or explain, and trust that things are simmering in the way that they need to, and things are also happening underneath the surface. So this could be in a very personal way inside of you, right? On that energetic level where things are getting reconfigured inside of you, reorganized, rewired even. But it can also be happening in the macro, in the world around us, where maybe alliances are breaking and reforming. Maybe information is being shared in new or different ways. Maybe connections are being made that will reform that on that like sort of molecular and chemistry level for society, if that's a thing. You Hopefully that analogy makes sense, but right, but even on that bigger picture level, things are changing behind the scenes. And as that happens, we don't really know where it's going to end up. So there are points in the planetary energies and planetary cycles where we really need to stop pushing, stop trying, stop. There's times for action. Absolutely. There are times for all these different ways of being. But one of those ways of being is to allow. And the Scorpio moon is a great time to allow things to change. And of course, where you see things that you like, that you want to see more of, affirm that, this is what I would like to see more of. Yes, this feels good. Yes, I like this. Whether it's inside of you or something happening in the world around you, be sure to have your input when you see, affirm that that is something that is valuable to you, something you want to see expand and grow. You could do that without having to understand the whole bigger picture. So that's what I'm getting at, is that that whole bigger picture is happening and and things are moving below the surface, behind the scenes, in those less obvious ways, but very much in that process of transformation. And coming back to Pluto and Pluto in Aquarius, we definitely have some themes related to power and empowerment, and where the power lies, and what you want to see in terms of what power looks like, right? Because power itself is not a bad thing. It's only how it's used. Um, and and so really thinking about what power looks like and what kind of power you want to see in the world and what's meaningful about that. Do you want to see the power of the people is the theme of Pluto in Aquarius. Power of communities, power of the grassroots, power of the everyday ordinary actions, and thinking and ideas, right, on the ground. And then as we head into the Saturn Neptune conjunction in 0 degrees Aries, we're going to see more new ideas taking root, and beginning to emerge and sprout, and and we'll see more new things. But right now, especially, we're doing the work of releasing our own programming, in a sense. Like, and I don't mean we are all like brainwashed. I just mean we have internalized how we are feel like, we should be according to society's standards, and we get to question that, right? We get to question, why does society have standards the way it does, and how do we want that to look if we want it to look different? So this is a time for new ideas, new possibilities. And with the Scorpio moon here for the next couple of days, seeing how that is moving below the surface, trusting the process, trusting what's moving inside of you, and how you and your own molecular structure is being rearranged, and how that also might be happening in the world around you. Again, not saying it's good or bad, not saying what will happen, but really just kind of understanding that this is the energy that we are in. And we are finishing up the Sagittarius moon cycle, heading into the upcoming new moon in Capricorn. So finishing up this work of reimagining the future and opening our horizons to new possibilities, seeing how things might be done if we allow ourselves to change. So I'll end with that. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Marina Orms, and you can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com, and also on my member site, transformationalastrology.com. Stay tuned. I'm going to have some interesting things to share with you around the Saturn Neptune conjunction coming up, and some fun conversations with some guests that I am excited to share with you. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for being here, and thanks for subscribing. If you haven't yet, maybe today is the day to hit that subscribe button. So I appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.